It would not be the Rogue Invitational if we didn't have a duel, and that is what is up next for the CrossFit athletes as they wrap up day 2 of competition here in Aberdeen, Scotland, inside P&J Live. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland with Adrian Conway. Kiki Dixon's down on the competition floor, and it's the Duel 4 presented by Strongest. And one thing that's great about the Rogue Invitational, we got strong men, strong women, and we got CrossFit athletes. We're going to blend the two here in event number 4 as the CrossFit athlete's going to face the power stairs, and it's always a blast, Adrian, to see how these athletes can adapt to something new that they've never probably used before.
Well, that's right, and that's a unique part about the CrossFit side of things. We're getting strongman implementations, but we didn't even see this coming. This workout was only announced just moments ago, and now we get to find out how they can adapt on the fly.
Now, women are up first. Let's check out the overall standings as we head into the final event of Saturday. No shock that Tia Toomey's on top of the overall standings. 3 wins and a second place finish, 495 out of a possible 500 points. Gabby McGowan sits in second, but only 20 points up now on Laura Horvath, who won the prior event, as the top 3 have really separated themselves from the rest of the field. Laura Horvath with a 100-point lead on Brooke Wells. The duel at number 4 is what awaits. It's going to be fast, and we're going to whittle the field down as we go through it. We're going to have heats of 5 to start. So 4 heats of 5, then we're going to cut the bottom 5 times. We're going to go 3 heats of 5 after that. We're going to cut down to 10. And then 2 heats, and then we're going to have a head-to-head matchup for the win. What are the keys here as these athletes try to figure this out?
You know, it's important to know your race. We talked about them just finding out what this event is. You got to have a clear head and be focused on where you're at, but also anticipate what phase of the race is next. And then you've got to finish the pull, and this is in reference to the power stairs, Sean. They're going to be lifting a couple 100 pounds from stair to stair. They got to stand all the way so that they don't have a bobble or the stairs slow them down.
Heat number 1. 5 women going at a time here. And there is Emma Tall.
Yeah, this is one of our athletes, Sean, who's had a great day today. She's come out. She's been able to have some movements that had favored her. Finding herself in 7th place overall. She's been climbing the ladder quick, and now we've got to see how she responds to this pressure-packed environment of this elimination-style event.
Emma Tall coming off her best finish of the competition. A 4th place in the last event to put her in 7th overall. Taylor Howe will also be in this first heat. 18th place overall coming in. Heat 1 is underway. 5 times up and over.
Standard here is the athlete's got to climb over that quickly. It's going to be 5 times. Their both feet have to touch the ground, and then they're free to get back over to the other side.
So Tall and Williamson sprinting to that 160-pound sled. They got to push it across the floor.
To the Zeus ring. Once they get underneath the Zeus ring and pass that line,
and now it's Emma Tall, who's going to be the first woman to that 225-pound weight. She's got to get up to the top of the stairs and then make the touch. And Emma Tall takes heat 1. Emma McQuaid and Taylor Williamson are done, and Taylor Howe and Perrin also finishing. So top 15 times. Moving on to the round of 15, the second round.
Wow. That's fast. She came out cooking.
so the top 15 of the dual part 4 will advance to the next round.
Well, we mentioned Emma Tall. How was she going to respond to the pressure? Well, here in the first heat, it was very well. She knew the race, knew exactly where to head next. Look at the leg drive and power that she exhibits here on the sled push. That's where she was able to create the most separation, turns immediately, heads to those power stairs, and then it was the pull and the hops up all the way to finish, touching that buzzer.
Emma Tall, heat win, looking to move into round number 2, and we will get reset for the second of 4 opening heats. Alex Kazan.
Another young woman having herself a day.
Kazan, 6th place overall.
We've got some heavy hitters coming out in this heat. A lot of these women can run, Sean, and they can run fast. I mean, Paige Semenza is one of them. Athletic background, specifically focused in collegiate hockey. We know that she can cover ground. She's going to have a time bounding over these up and overs. It's going to go by fast here.
Paige Semenza will be in the second lane from the left. Really just has to simulate hopping over the boards for a line change 5 different times.
Hey, there you go.
Little taller than your standard dasher boards in an ice rink, though.
That's right.
The height on that thing is about 50 inches.
10 seconds. Stand by.
Heat 2 underway. And Semenza and Brandon out front. Brandon at the far side. You can see her making quick work of these 5 up and overs. And Brandon's done, sprinting to the sled. Semenza's in second, followed by Wells, Kazan, and Barnhart. Well, Danielle Brandon's got to get under the rig, and then she'll make her way back to the power stairs and have to lug that 225-pound weight to the top and hit the buzzer. Danielle Brandon in the lead, and then it's tight behind her in second place. Brandon getting to the top, makes the touch, and it was close, as I think Alex Kazan closed the gap there. We'll have to wait for the times to fill in. We do know Danielle Brandon was first, so she looks to move herself into round number 2.
Man, we talk about thinking outside of the box. Danielle Brandon had a unique approach there, man, especially early on those up and overs. That was really what got her the separation. Check this out, Sean. She's literally executing a touch and go up and over where she keeps her weight leaned towards that large bag, that bale, and that allowed her to have the advantage, slight edge over. Once she got to the weighted implements, that's where a lot of the field was able to start to close the gap. But she did what she had to do to create that buffer, and she was able to still edge out the competition, making her way to that red button.
Kazan and Semenza were really close on that buzzer. We'll have to see how that shakes out as we're now halfway through the preliminary opening rounds here as we get set to cut down to 15. Now Danny Spiegel.
Yeah, we know. Hey, listen, she's had some great success here in these duels, Sean, in years past. She can cover space, she can run, she can jump. And we know the sled is going to be nothing when it comes to loading for her. She's going to get to those stairs and fly.
11th place overall. Her best finish was last night in Braveheart when she took 3rd place overall. Haley Adams is looking to get back on track after finishing 5th and then 6th. She's got 2 19th place finishes and then a 15th in the last event. Leon Anganez, Emily Rolfe, and Maddie Sturt also in this heat.
Yeah, another one. I wonder how many notes they were able to take watching Danielle Brandon do the bounding up and overs. That could come in clutch if people start to mimic that.
Well, unlike past years here in the duel, no one gets a bye.
That's right.
So everybody's got to go through round 1 here. Heat number 3 underway. So Danny Spiegel is going to be off first, followed by Manon Anganez, Emily Rolfe, and Haley Adams. 160 pounds on that sled, no problem for Danny Spiegel. Now it's to the power stairs. Spiegel and Anganez, the top 2. 225 won't be a problem for Spiegel. And here come Adams, Sturt, and Rolfe. Spiegel makes the touch and takes her heat. Anganez is in second, followed by Sturt, Rolfe, and then Adams.
And the rest.
Man, these are tight.
The very fast time we're going to find
39.12 seconds is the fastest time from Danny Spiegel, and we'll wait to see who came in behind her. The fourth and final opening round heat coming up. And it looks like Danny Spiegel was paying attention.
That's right. I mean, we knew this was a power-based event. We knew that it had some movements that were going to allow her to excel. And she executed it clean, and that's really all she needed to hope for. She came up and over those the up and over, she executed at a high level, and then of course this sled she was able to actually create just a touch more of a gap. You see her pulling away from a lot of the competitors. Manon Anganez was able to actually start to close the gap once she got to the stairs, but Spiegel was too far ahead already, executing the power stairs to a T. Spiegel still used that step up and over. We're gonna see some athletes start to attack that thing with a jump. I see it in the future coming, and she might need to use that in the heats to come, as they're only gonna get faster and faster as we go.
The fourth and final preliminary heat is out there. And Tia Toomey's gonna be right in the middle of the floor. And there's Laura Horvath who's coming off that first place finish in event 5.
She's got some momentum, Sean, and we know that she can run through space. We know that she can be powerful and explosive. She's gonna have no trouble with these up and overs. It's all about how clean she can go.
Brooke Wells and Ariel Lowen will be the bookends in this heat. Wells the bottom, Lowen at the top, those long pants, and it's Magawa and Toomey off the same time to the 160-pound sled. Magawa gets out slightly ahead of Toomey on that push. And Magawa is going to be off first, neck and neck with Tia Toomey. Here comes Laura Horvath. And now Lowen and Wells. Here comes Laura Horvath. She's going to make the touch right behind Gabby Magawa. I think it's going to be Magawa, Horvath, and then Toomey.
I love it. I love it. The competitive nature of these women, they all finish and they all look extremely annoyed. Like, I wasn't fast enough, Sean. It didn't matter where they finished, it wasn't fast enough. But here's the cool thing. We know the elimination is going to take place based off the top times. So even though they might have beaten one another, the top 5, these ladies all executed to a top of the tee. Like, it was a very clean run for almost all 5. They'll all have a chance to advance. We just got to tally the scores. But wow, Gabby really surprised me coming first off the up and overs. And I'll tell you what, she opted for more of a shorter, choppier step here on the sled to the left, as you can see. A little bit of some quicker steps, and it allowed her to get there. Rep for rep with Tia, and she was able to edge her out, and also did Laura there in that final stretch.
Less than a second separating the top 3. Top 15 move on. So we will take a quick break as they figure out who will advance to round number 2. The duel number 4 continues when we return to the 2024 Rogue Invitational. Round one is in the books, getting set for round number 2 as we continue to review the scores here. Top 15 times from round 1 move on to round 2 in the Duel 4 presented by Strongest. I'm Sean Woodland alongside former Affiliate Cup winner Adrian Conway. Kiki Dixon has us covered down on the competition floor. Let's reset what we're looking at here in the Duel 4. Nice mix between CrossFit and Strongman.
It's a really great balance. They start with 5 up and overs the hay bell. And what that means is that their feet literally have to touch the ground on the other side and they can go right back the opposite direction. A 50-foot sled push, 160 pounds, and then 4 power stair steps of 225 pounds.
Well, the keys to this event.
Oh man, the keys are to know the race. We just got it dropped on us. We have a deeper understanding. I'll say the keys have even transformed going into round 2. Now you've got to touch the implements. You know how the power stairs feel. So now you've got to be able to execute it at a higher level. And of course, on those power stairs, finish the pull. Athletes are getting a little held up if they nick the steps. And of course, that extra resistance is not a good thing when you're shooting at something for time that's going this fast.
3 heats now of 5 women in the top 15 times moved on from round number 1. And likely that we're going slowest times to fastest times. So you got Amanda Barnhart, Maddie Sturt, Emily Rolfe, Dana Perrin, and Haley Adams out there for the first of 3 heats.
Haley showing off for the crowd there. Another crowd favorite, of course. Everybody loving that Haley's back on the competition floor.
And I think it's also just a sign of how she's enjoying the process and enjoying competing. That's something you probably wouldn't see from Haley Adams before she took that break.
That's right, and it's an important aspect for all athletes in many different ways. Now, we saw some really tight races in the first round, and I expect, Sean, that they're even going to be significantly tighter here, mainly because, like we just mentioned, like they've gotten a run through this already. Athletes have had a chance to manage a new game plan, tweak some things, and now they're going to get to go at a faster rate.
So bottom of the top part is Barnhart, Sturt, Rolfe, Perrin, and Adams. First of 3 heats. We're going to cut down to 10 after this round. First heat of round 2 is underway. 5 up and overs, 55 inches is what they have to traverse as far as the height is concerned. And it's Emily Rolfe and Haley Adams off first, followed by Amanda Barnhart. Rolfe to the sled, 160 pounds, got to push it 50 feet. And Haley Adams is close, and Amanda Barnhart's starting to gain ground. Rolfe is off first, Adams and Barnhart right behind her. And here comes Dana Perrin and Maddie Sturt. 225 pounds, got to lug that thing up those 4 power stairs. Haley Adams gaining ground on Emily Rolfe. Haley Adams got a little hung up. Rolfe tripped, was able to make it first. Adams is second, Perrin third, followed by Barnhart and Sturt.
Woo! Oh my goodness. Talk about ups and downs. I mean, the people were closing the gap. Rolfe had a steady lead. Perrin came out of nowhere. My goodness. Way to finish there by Emily Rolfe, though. She was definitely starting to feel the pressure. Haley was putting it on her from that far lane.
And you mentioned, finish your pull.
That's right.
And I think Rolfe may have gotten hung up there.
Yeah, a little bit. And it's natural to assume. I mean, look, the fatigue that gets built, even in this short working window, after this sled push right here, their legs do not feel like their normal legs, meaning they push past that finish line of the sled push, they turn and run, and they're like, wait, what's going on? Is there a gorilla on my back? Because they feel heavier, their legs feel slower, and then to add to that, you've got to lift 225 pounds now, an extra 12 or so inches each step, and that's where the hang-up happened for Rolfe. Wow, and she was able to still follow through and be an athlete there, even from that kneeling position.
I thought maybe it got hung up on the lip of one of the steps, but it didn't. It was just a slip on her part. Now we're ready for the second heat. Looks like Manon Anganese is out there. One of the Wells sisters. And of course, Tia Toomey.
And what I'll say, Sean, in the final heat of round 1 with Tia, the power stairs gave her a little bit of trouble compared to the other women in her heat. I'd be interested to see her adaptability to how she simply moves that thing up the stairs versus the way that she did in round one, because she was right there the entire time, and that slowed her up just a touch compared to Gabby and Laura.
It's Anganese, Sydney Wells, Tia Toomey, Emma Tall, and Ariel Lowen here in heat number 2. As now the top 10 times will move on.
I'm also interested to see what happens with Emma here. She significantly won her heat the first round out, and now that she's going to be in a tighter field, I wonder if this will push her a little bit faster and create more urgency in her execution.
Well, Manon Anganese has had a pretty good competition so far, coming in 8th place overall.
Yep. I honestly have been extremely impressed in her execution throughout. Very steady, very quiet in a way, right? Not coming out with any event wins, but doing what she needs to do to be in the top 10. Putting herself in a great situation here as we execute through event 6.
Second of 3 heats in round 2. Underway, 5 up and overs. And it's Tia Toomey and Ariel Lowen, I think, who are in the lead here. Toomey's going to be off first. Wastes no time. Lowen right behind her, and it's Sydney Wells, Emma Tall, Manon Anganese in 5th, but she's quickly making up that ground. Toomey in the lead on the sled push. And out of the power stairs along with Emma Tall. Manon Anganese has moved into 3rd ahead of Wells and Lowen. 225 pounds up the stairs.
Yep.
And it's Tia Toomey's going to take her heat. And it was close between Anganese and Tall. Wells, and then I think Lowen came in 5th. 8/100ths of a second between Tall and Anganese.
Woo! It is going to be a dramatic way to try to find the top 10 of this round. It's going to be tight. But Sean, like we talked about, Tia came out and she learned something. Even her up and unders, she's tucking her right knee up tighter, right into her chest, and it allowed her to get a slight edge here, which she needed because a lot of the rest of the field really closed the gap here on the sled push to her. Emma Tall, to be specific. And my question in my mind was, how would she attack the power stairs differently? And for the first 3 stairs, she had a much cleaner transition. We talk about finish the pool. She had a little bit of a hold up on stair number 3, but wow, she got it done. Even checking the stairs, she's like, wow, was that one stair a little higher than the rest? But she got the job done, and she'll look to advance here as we see the times play out.
Now, Tia Toomey did not win her heat in the opening round, but clearly improved on that, like you said, Adrian. And nearly got like a running start off of the final up and over. She leapt off the top of that thing, and now we're set for our 3rd and final heat.
And these are going to be the fastest competitors from round 1 at least. Danielle Brandon right in the center. Gabby McGowan set a really strong tone in that last successful heat. Brandon was the one that came out with those touch and go, almost rebounding style up and overs. I'll be interested to see if she carries it into round 2.
Semenza, McGowan, Brandon, Horvath, and Alex Kazan all out there. Final heat of round 2.
She keeps it going.
And once again, it's Danielle Brandon who's got the fastest pace on those up and over. She's going to be the first one off and onto the sled, followed closely by McGowan and Horvath. So Gabby McGowan starting to make up some ground on that sled push. Laura Horvath and Alex Kazan are even, along with Paige Semenza, so it's going to be tight. Here comes Danielle Brandon, first of the power stairs. McGowan and Horvath are neck and neck. And Laura Horvath with a late charge is going to win the heat, followed by Brandon and McGowan, I think.
Wow. That final stair got Danielle with a relatively clean run. She's going to have a couple instances where she'll want to clean that up, but what a clean run by Laura. Sean, we've seen this from her before where it's like she almost methodically starts these duels on purpose. Like leaves a little in the tank. She's like, oh yeah, I'm going to let you guys get out ahead of me. and I'm gonna stay just nipping at your heels, and that's exactly what she did. She stayed close enough to Danielle Brandon to be within striking distance, trusting her speed, trusting her capacity, and then once they got to those power stairs, it was the clean run by Laura Horvath. The stairs got Danielle right there, and it was enough to allow Laura to edge her out.
Just a second and a half separating the top 4 women in that heat. And now we're going to cut down again.
Yep. Top 10.
The top 10 moving on to round 3, then it's 5, and then down to the head-to-head matchup for the event win. The 2 rounds down, round number 3 as we move on to the top 10 athletes coming up. So stay with us. Our coverage continues in Aberdeen. 2 rounds are down here in the Duel 4 as we wrap up the second day of competition at the 2024 Rogue Invitational. It's another elimination style event. We started with 20, we moved on to 15, and we're getting set to announce the 10 women who will move on to the 4th round. It's a cool blend between CrossFit and some strongman implements that we have there out on the floor. Well, for the announcement of our 10 athletes, let's send it down to Joshy G.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry. Love to make it dramatic here at the Rogue Invitational. Here are your top 10 advancing. In first place, Laura Horvath. Second place, Danielle Brandon. In third place, Gabby McGowan. In fourth, Paige Semenza. And in fifth, Tia Claire Toomey. And now, the 5 remaining qualifying spots. In 6th place, Emma Tall. In 7th place, Manon Agones. In 8th place, Alex Gazan. In 9th place, Ariel Lowen. And the 10th and final spot, Dana Perrin.
Thank you, Josh. 10 athletes just announced of 2 heats of 5 here. Laura Horvath with a top time from round 3, 37.49 seconds. And as you mentioned, Adrian, looked like she attacked that second round with more ferocity than round 1.
Yeah, just a little bit. She's known for that. She likes, hey, I know that I'm going to advance. I'm going to get a feel for these implements, a feel for the order, a feel for my pace, have some clean runs, and then build speed as I go. That's how she's going to find herself posting one of the best times throughout, and of course giving herself a chance in that final heat as long as she can advance.
Spots 6 through 10 will go first. 1 through 5 will go second. It's Lowen, Anganese, Tall, Gazan, and Perrin out there right now, lanes 1 through 5.
I'll tell you what makes it tough about this, Sean, is athletes get within themselves in their head, know that this is a fast race and they want to sprint all out. And sometimes it's better to have a slightly slower run, but cleaner outcome than to go really fast and be slightly out of control.
Alex Gazan in lane number 4, 6th place overall. She jumped up 7 spots after the opening event of the day, and then moved up again after finishing 7th in event 5. Five times up and over that 55-inch cylinder. And Gazan's going to be off first, closely followed by Emma Tall, Dana Perrin, and Ariel Lowen. Manon Anganese is going to be the last woman to the sled. Gazan.
Wow. Emma
got overtaken by Emma Tall. Emma Tall is going to be first to the power stairs, followed by Gazan and Perrin. And now Anganese is in 4th. And it's Ariel Lowen in 5th. Emma Tall with 1 step to go, and Emma Tall is going to take her heat. It's going to be, I think Perrin beat out Gazan on the touch on the buzzer. And she did by a 1/10 of a second. Manon Anganese is going to take 4th, and Ariel Lowen is in 5th. So Emma Tall at 38.07 seconds. Looking to move on to the next round. Only 5 women will move on to the next round. Great charge there by Emma Tall on the sled.
Yeah, she did in this round what she's done in the previous 2. She has a unique ability to be right in a threatening distance, and once she gets to that sled, she just starts to chew up the turf, man. She gains ground, she overtakes the lead, and then that puts her in a great situation to be in the driver's seat once she gets to the power stairs. And that was a very clean run on those stairs for her and allowed her to be smooth right to the button.
And Dana Perrin just edged out Alex Gazan on the touch of the buzzer. As now round 2, second and final round, is set to go. Paige Semenza, Danielle Brandon, Laura Horvath, Gabby McGowan, and Tia Toomey.
This is a big, big, important heat. Only 5 are going to advance. They're feeling the pressure here. Let's see who can string it together and have another clean and fast run.
Well, it's big for Laura Horvath because she only trails Gabby McGowan by 20 points for second place. Should be a good battle between Brandon and Horvath right in the middle.
From what we know, Danielle will come off first from the up and overs, and then it will be about the distance Laura can close down the stretch.
So Brandon first, followed by Horvath and Semenza. Tia Toomey is in fourth, and Gabby McGowan.
And here comes Laura.
I don't know what happened to McGowan. She's back there on the hay bale. We'll have to keep an eye on her. Hope she's okay. As Laura Horvath is ahead of Brandon going to the power stairs. Semenza sits in third, followed by Toomey. And Horvath makes a touch. He's going to win her heat. Brandon is next, followed by Semenza and Toomey.
Faster and faster and faster every time.
And Gabby McGowan is looking like she's not putting a lot of weight on that left foot. I hope she is okay. Joshua Hicks, who's the head of the medical team, she's going to help her off. But Gabby McGowan, second place overall. Laura Horvath wins her heat.
Wow. Well, and this did start a lot like we expected. Danielle Brandon coming out fast. She, of course, has that rebounding effect there with the up and overs. But it was Laura that was able to close the gap and then take over the lead there. And then again, like we talked about, she starts at a bit of a conservative pace. And each round, she gets to touch these implements. She gets faster and faster and faster. And this was her fastest run of the day, getting the top time in that round.
You can see she knew it as she got to the top. Laura Horvath at the end of event 5. Kiki Dixon said, "You're in third place right now." And Laura said, "Yeah, don't worry, we're going to change that." And so far, backing up the talk. We'll have to wait to see what the top 5 times are heading into the next round, and then we're going to cut it down to the final 2. Wait for those scores to be tabulated. And then we'll be back with the next round. The Duel 4. Getting closer to concluding here as we are waiting on the final 5 athletes before our head-to-head matchup for the event win. See the men back in the warm-up area. Jason Hopper there with Brent Fikowski. There's Jorge Fernandez as well.
Yeah, taking lots of notes from what they see from the women, I'm sure. Getting all the coaches' advice, trying to figure out the best way they can mimic, Sean, the implements that they're going to see on the competition floor. Again, it's unique in a lot of ways, but this is common stance for our sport, that we expose ourselves to unique things. Not enough resources to probably have them in the back for everyone all the time to warm up with, so they make do with some high boxes, with some heavy kettlebells, with a sled loaded with who knows what to mimic the exact loading. But they make sure that their body's physically prepared and ready to take the floor. And of course, for this one, they've got to be ready to take the floor fast.
A quick break. When we come back, final 5 take on the Duel 4. Stay with us here at the 2024 Rogue Invitational. We're set to make the announcement on the 5 athletes who will be advancing to the next round as the Duel 4 continues here on Saturday at the 2024 Rogue Invitational. We started with 20. We're about to be down to 5. Send it down to Joshy G.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the athletes moving on to the semifinals. With the fastest time, Laura Horvath. In second place, Emma Tall. In third place, Paige Semenza. In fourth place, Danielle Brandon. And in the fifth and final qualifying spot, Dana Perrin.
There you have it, the top 5 women. After this, it's going to be a head-to-head battle for the event win. Laura Horvath had the top time out of the last round, got even faster, 36.26 seconds. Emma Tall, Paige Semenza, and Danielle Brandon all right around 38 seconds. And then Dana Perrin by a 1/10 of a second, 0.14 seconds over Gazan. So Alex Gazan is going to finish 6th in the event. Tia Toomey's going to take 8th.
Wow. Tight race. The Duel is always good for some shaking up on the leaderboard, to say the least.
And Gabby McGow is currently seeking medical attention. She's going to take 10th. We're set to bring the next 5, the final 5 out. And I don't know how much Laura Horvath can continue to squeeze out of these events, but she's gotten faster each time. It's been impressive.
That's right. As cool as a cucumber, some would say. She finds her ability to remain calm amidst all this chaos of moving full speed, and I think that's a unique skill set that she has, honestly. We've seen it in a Duel from her in the past. I'm really impressed with Dana Perrin taking the floor here. Going to have a top 5 finish. Not seen her at the games, not seen her at Rogue Invitational, but I'll tell you what, a background in basketball and Olympic weightlifting, those things blend pretty well for a CrossFit/strongman showdown in Duel 4.
Yeah, Dana Perrin is going to get her best finish of the competition. She started out with a 20th and then took 8th in event 2. That's the best finish she's had so far, but guaranteeing herself a spot inside the top 5 here in event 6. There's Laura Horvath, who is building momentum here on day number 2. Has a 2nd and a 1st today.
And I'm really excited. I mean, it's going to be back and forth. We're going to see Danielle Brandon come out hot, come out fast off these up and overs, but then it's the 2 best sled pushers in the game with Laura Horvath and Emma Tall side by side in lane 3 and 2, and that's where they've been closing the gap on Danielle Brandon, who's coming out quick. And then, of course, we'll see what Dana and Paige can bring to the table in lanes 4 and 5 here and how they'll finish out in this race.
36.
Danielle Brandon has been one of the fastest athletes that we have seen on those up and overs, but as you mentioned, with Horvath on the sled, who's been making up a lot of time there. Certainly do not count out Emma Tall and Paige Semenza. Semi-final heat is underway. And it's going to be Danielle Brandon off first. Laura Horvath the second, followed by Paige Semenza, Dana Perrin, and then Emma Tall. Brandon to the sled, just ahead of Laura Horvath. And Horvath once again making up some ground. Horvath's going to be done first. It's neck and neck. Horvath has a slight lead over Tall and Brandon. Laura Horvath is going to take her heat. And it's going to be Emma Tall in second, followed by Brandon Paran and Semenza. So it's going to be Emma Tall and Laura Horvath for the event win.
Wow.
Your one-hand twos, we're going to confirm, and then it will be set for the...
What an event, what an event. What a day for Emma Tall, making some serious moves up the leaderboard. Wow.
Just like Laura Horvath, Emma Tall has had a great day too, a 7th and a 4th, and now looking at worst, a second place finish.
That's right. I mean, this really started the way we thought it would. Danielle Brandon doing what she does, sprawling over those up and overs. I mean, people are going to need to go back and watch her film and try to mimic what she was able to do there. And then, of course, it was Emma and Laura really making some ground right there on the sled, as both of those women have throughout the other heats throughout the day. And then it was a clean run here on those power stairs. Laura, like we mentioned, cool as a cucumber there. Not letting the moment get the best of her. Emma Tall, Danielle right on their heels.
Danielle Brandon is going to finish 3rd in the event. That's her best finish of the competition. She came in 13th place overall with 225 points. She was 35 points out of a spot inside the top 10 was Brandon. So it's going to be Horvath taking on Emma Tall for the win. Whew. Laura Horvath, as I mentioned, having a great day two. Started out on day one with a 4th, then took a 3rd, had a hiccup in a damage control event for her with those wall-facing handstand push-ups in the wall walk complex in event number 3. That was the 14th place, but today a 2nd, and then she ended Tia Toomey's 4-event winning streak with a win in event 5. Let's go back and watch that final heat just one more time.
Yeah, in the live action, you get to see it right here. Great view. Watch Danielle have a few steps on the rest of the heat. Paige even right there on Laura's heels. This sled has been such a differentiator for Emma Tall. She was dead last getting to that sled. And then look at the ground she's able to make up. All that power and strength right into that sled. And then it was the top 3 the rest of the way. It was Laura Horvath on that clean run, though.
Yeah, Laura, I was just going to say, she's done a great job of not having any hiccups on those power stairs.
None.
Now she's another heat win away from her 2nd win of the day and her 2nd straight event win.
That's right. And even when you think about how does Emma try to overtake Laura here in this final heat? Where does she have the opportunity? Well, what you can't count on is Laura messing up. So you've got to try to be a little bit more risky in this run. You're already going to get top 2. If she can find a way to navigate those up and overs a little faster, to be closer to Laura on that sled, she'll have a chance at making a move on those power stairs.
I think that's probably, you're absolutely right, the only spot in this event where Emma can gain some ground is on the first portion, because Laura's been great on the sled and she's been picture perfect on that 225-pound weight on the power stairs.
Yeah, and perhaps you just stay a little close a little earlier in that race, and maybe that forces an error on Laura's part. Makes her find that threshold a little sooner in the race, and you never know.
This has been fun to watch, and we talked about this at the beginning. We got strong men, strong women here. That's been a fun competition. But to mix the two and see the power stairs that the strong men and strong women did in their prior event, to leave those out here, see how CrossFit athletes navigate that. They've never done this. I haven't seen anything like this in a competition before.
No, never. I've never seen it, and I love it so much, and I guarantee all the athletes do as well. It's that exciting draw. They get to be companions here throughout the Rogue Invitational all the time, and then to get to share some of the specific equipment that's specifically new to CrossFitters, man, it's always exciting. That's why they want to come enjoy this experience. That's one of the reasons.
See Jeff Adler, the overall leader for the men, warming up. Picking up some of those kettlebells back there. They got a really nice warm-up area. I was able to take the tour the other night and see what they had back there. It was a lot of fun. Some of the Legends athletes were there talking to people. It was a really fun experience if you have a chance to do it.
Yeah, you look at even just the area where these athletes get to prepare themselves physically and mentally for the task ahead. I mean, every resource you could ever dream of there, Sean.
Yeah, Chris Clever and Tanya Wagner were a part of that tour, and they were saying, yeah, when we warmed up for these events, we had like one barbell we had to share, a couple weights we had to dig up, and maybe 2 spots to do something on a rig.
Yeah, times have changed a little. Times have changed as they should. I look at that atmosphere back there, and I'm just like, oh, a playground. That's what this is. It's an adult playground to me. I want to go have some fun.
And this venue is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, even having I got to enjoy part of the spectator experience as the strongmen were going. I went down there and sat by my wife for a couple of the heats, and it's just like, hey, there's not a bad seat in the house. Yeah. The environment is electric.
It's been a lot of fun so far these 2 days. Fans have been outstanding. And now we get one final head-to-head matchup between Laura Horvath and Emma Tall for the event win in the Duel 4.
Yeah, part of this experience coming over here, Sean, I mean, we've talked about adapting to the time change. Makes me so appreciative for what athletes historically do come and do the USA to compete.
We're set for the finals. Laura Horvath and Emma Tall. 100 points on the line. Laura Horvath looking for her second straight event win. Emma Tall looking for the first event win of her career here at the Rogue Invitational.
Oh, it turned up real quick in here. Here we go.
Laura Horvath has been great on the second 2 movements here, the sled and the power stairs. Emma Tall has been fantastic on the sled.
Can she get there faster on this run?
Here we go, Tall versus Horvath for the win. 5 up and overs to start.
Laura stole a page from Danielle Brandon's book. She did that up and over faster than any other round so far.
Horvath off first. Let's see if Emma Tall can once again make up some ground on the sled. Tall doing a good job of staying right in Horvath's back pocket, and now onto the power stairs. 225 pounds has got to be moved to the top. Horvath is on the lead here. And now a stumble for Tall. That's going to open the door for Laura Horvath. Second straight event win. Emma Tall is going to take second.
Wow. What a show.
36.15 seconds for Laura Horvath, who was picture perfect through every single run here and picks up her second straight event win. Called her shot earlier, said she's not going to be in third for long. And she was right.
We're going to change that. Were exactly her words. And here's what I love. Laura doing Laura things. She's a veteran. She's a champion. She's the defending champ. She took that element that she was monitoring and being slowest at, and she made it faster by doing the rebound up and overs like we saw Danielle doing in all the former rounds. Laura kept that in her back pocket through the finale because she knew other competitors wouldn't realize that she was going to only go faster every time she stepped out on the floor.
9th career event win at the Rogue Invitational for your defending champion, Laura Horvath. Takes the head-to-head battle with Emma Tall. And let's send it down to Kiki Dixon.
Laura, congratulations on your event win.
Thank you.
On our last interview, you said that you were about ready to change that leaderboard. Apparently, you're a woman of your word. What were the ingredients that went into that manifestation right there?
You know, it's just the mentality, show up and hunt them down.
You definitely went hunting and came back victorious. With this type of event, you can make adaptations as you go. What adjustments were you making on the fly between the rounds?
Yeah, definitely. Like, we didn't have all the implements inside the warm-up area, so you get to feel the hay bale and then the alpaca too. So thankfully, I figured them out and went faster and faster every round, so it paid off.
And which implement did you like the best out of the three?
Well, I really enjoyed the staircase. It's cool. We've never seen before. Only strongmen did this, so I'm glad we got to do this as well.
We just wrapped up day 2 of competition. One more day to go. How hungry are you?
Oh, you'll see. Bring the cutlery.
We will. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Well, Laura Horvath has a knack for finishing interviews and has a knack for finishing off events. Second straight event win. She goes second, first on day number 2 to set herself up nicely for the final 3 events on Sunday. The event results for the final heat, it's Horvath, 36.15 seconds. Emma Tull had that stumble. That's what cost her 39.79 seconds for her to take 95 points, her best finish of the competition. Second straight inside the top 4. Laura Horvath on the charge here in Aberdeen, Scotland. Picks up her second straight event win, the 9th of her career, and adds 100 points to her total. And looking to move up the overall standings. Men coming up next as they take on the Duel 4 here at the 2024 Rogue Invitational.